Hi everybody and happy Tuesday. So here we are once again, and I was thinking, what could we do for our friends and family that will be tuning in this Tuesday? So I decided my head was wrapped around the game Follow the Leader. I'm sure that everyone has played that game at some point in their lives, and I remember that game, and I love that game, except if I remember right, whatever the leader did, you had to do. And most of the time it was fun, and it was silly, and you get to do a lot of goofy things that you wouldn't ordinarily do unless that's part of who you are. And of course that is part of who I am, because I'm kind of goofy sometimes, as we all know. But sometimes the leader wanted us to do things that we didn't want to do. And sometimes you don't do it because you don't want to do it. So as soon as that happens, you're out of the game. And then there are those things that the leader does that physically we cannot do. So then we're out of the game. But then those that are most determined will try to figure out a way to stick with it until the very end. And if by chance you're the last one standing with the leader, guess what? You get to be the leader. And then it's your turn. And then everyone has to do whatever you do. And that can be a lot of fun. Because as you're doing it, you can see who's doing it right and who's not doing it right. Well, folks, that's the way life is too. And sometimes we want ourselves to be the leader in our own lives. We want to make our own choices. We want to make the decisions, and we think that they're always going to be the right decisions. But then others in our lives will point out that they're not necessarily the right decisions, or if we enter into a moment of prayer or a chat with God, we will know that we made the wrong decision. And it's usually about something in our lives that would be easy to make the right or the wrong decision. But if we start with talking to God and praying about things and make sure that God is the leader, it would be really good in God's eyes. But the cool thing is that God knows that we're humans, because God created us as humans. And God knows that we're going to do the right things some of the time, and sometimes we're going to do the wrong things. But the beauty is that when we do the wrong things, if we realize that we have done the wrong things, and we come to God and say, hey, sorry for making the wrong decision, maybe with God's help, we can turn it around so that that wrong decision will end up having been a good decision after all, because we can fix it with God's help. You know, there was a bumper sticker once when I was driving, and it said, if you are living your life like God is your co-pilot, maybe you need to switch seats and let God be the pilot. Think about that. Think about that in our lives every day. Because if indeed we make God our pilot and we are the co-pilot, then we will live a little bit differently. We will think before we speak. We will think before we act. We will think before we do things, and we will seek wisdom and guidance to do the right thing. But folks, just remember that we have a loving and compassionate and caring God who will forgive us when we make some of the wrong choices. But God, like any parent, will always want us to make the right decision and will help to guide us in that direction each time, if we only sit down and talk to God about it before we do it. So today, let us pray. Dear God, you give us free will to make decisions, and you, like anyone who loves us, hopes that those decisions will be good decisions. Help us to make the right choices. Help us to heed your words and to be grateful to you for loving us and forgiving us, even when we make bad decisions. We know that through your love, grace, and compassion, we will always be blessed. Amen. Have an amazing rest of your day, and God bless you all.